of the canal, a duck sat on her nest. She was waiting for her ducklings to hatch. She had been waiting for a long time. At last, the eggs began to crack. One by one, the ducklings poked their heads out. "Cheep, cheep, cheep," they said, as they saw the big outside world. Soon all the eggs had hatched except one. This was the biggest of all the eggs. The duck sat on her big egg a little longer until finally it cracked. Out tumbled the last of her chicks. She looked at him and said, "Oh dear, you're so big and ugly." The next day was warm and sunny. The duck took her new family down to the canal and splashed in the water. One by one the ducklings followed her. Soon they were all swimming beautifully, even the big, ugly grey one. Next the mother took her ducklings into the duck yard. "Stay close to me and watch out for the cat," she said to them. "And remember, bow your heads to that duck over there." This was the oldest and most important duck in the yard. The duck yard was very noisy. The ducklings walked close to their mother and remembered to bow their heads. The other ducks thought they were all beautiful, except for the ugly one. The ducklings lived in the yard, but the ugly duckling was very unhappy. The older ducks pecked at him and laughed, and he had nowhere to go. One day he ran away. He ran until he came to a great marsh where the wild ducks lived, and the duckling was very tired. He lay in the rushes for 2 whole days. Then the wild ducks and some geese came to look at him. "You're very ugly," they said, and they laughed at him. The poor ugly duckling ran away from the great marsh. He ran over the fields and meadows, and everywhere he went the birds and animals said, "Oh, how big and ugly you are." Winter was coming. The leaves had dropped from the trees. The ground was cold and hard, and the duckling had nowhere to stay. One evening, a flock of birds flew overhead. They were beautiful white swans with long necks. "I wish I was like that," said the duckling. He hid among the reeds in the marsh all through the long, cold winter. Then the warm spring sun came, and the duckling spread his wings. They were strong wings now, and he flew high into the air. He flew over the canal and saw 3 beautiful swans as he landed. The duckling saw himself in the water. He was not an ugly duckling at all. He was a beautiful white swan. "Come with us," said the other swans, and he did.
An ugly duckling he once was, different from the other ones. All the animals always tease the poor little ugly duckling. And as the winter passed along, and out came the summer sun, the ugly duckling had become a very beautiful swan.